Hello there. It is Sunday morning, which means, and I guess has kind of meant for the last few weeks, which is nice. It's nice being able to do this on a regular time. It means it's time to play Ironsworn. I can't get over how excited I am about this game. Like, I'm having such a nice time. It's so cool to be able to just like hang out with chat and spend a couple of hours. I mean, I guess honestly, just like portraying the world's dumbest half elf. She is terrible. And you know, it's really fun playing a character for whom the circumstances of failure are irrelevant. Like the thing about Nabake suffers, and we all get a chance to kind of like have a giggle about it. So that's kind of fun. The suffering is only fake. It's just pretend. It's pretend. And at the very least, it's not happening to me. It's happening to a fictional character. So this is a first look that turned into a test session, which turned into a campaign of Ironsworn. So we did a first look at this video or at this game, gosh, a while back, 8 weeks, maybe a little more, and it is a dark fantasy. I tend to play it like a little bit Viking inspired. I think the art kind of indicates that a little bit, but obviously, you know, your mileage may vary. But for us, it's been a kind of semi-Viking inspired solo RPG. Now you can play Ironsworn by yourself, like I've been doing. You can play it with a group against a non-GM, so you can play it as like a GM-less co-op game, and then you can also play it as a traditional RPG. Though for me, like, I don't know, I feel like for me, what really drives me about this is how easy it is to play without a dedicated GM. I think that it's given me a lot of insight into what the role of the game master is in any given game, and kind of what they're responsible for doing. You know, like I think this is even if I weren't interested in the game vis-a-vis the game, right? If I were interested in it from what can I learn about role-playing games in general, or what kinds of tools can I steal from this game? I have already kind of learned so much about role-playing games in general by trying this new model. This is why I think that if you're into RPGs, you know, you should try GM-less games, right? Try Fiasco, try Microscope, try diceless games, right? Try Amber Diceless, try Archipelago, try LARPs, right? Try board games with a storytelling piece to them, because the more game that we play, the better we get at the games we're already playing, right? The more nice and interesting tools that we can use when we play with these other games. So like, I feel if I were to GM this game, I would probably, because of my experiences with it as a solo player, I feel like I'd probably take a pretty hands-off approach to GMing, because there's so many tools for the players to manage their own adversity clocks, right? Like the game has a countdown clock system that the players manage instead of the GM. So in a way, because of the solo nature game, a lot of the responsibility of the game master has been mechanized in an interesting way that allows you, if you GM this game, to sort of take a step back. I don't know, it's curious to me. So far we have been wandering the world. We have been taking on mercenary missions. We've been very, very slowly working on our epic quest, though kind of badly, and definitely not on purpose. I don't know that Nabake is going to survive to see her dreams come true, but at the very least, she can survive to give other people nightmares, right? So let me, before we get into it, just to give everybody kind of a reminder of what we're doing. So let's talk about the truths of the world. Let's talk about my character. We'll do a quick recap of where the hell we're at, and then we'll jump in, because I owe some nuns my service, and I'm hoping today we can get out of Shekar's service, because, well, we'll talk about Shekar in a second. So trying to stay a little bit more structured here. So, okay. the world as such is a sort of frontier environment. Here we go. It is a continent that humanity has only recently begun our sort of spread to. I mean, I guess we've had two short and brutal generations to attempt to colonize, and mostly we've managed sort of this province and then some further inland travel. But basically the idea is that two or three generations ago, our people lived in the old world, and the old world had science, and it had medicine, and it had magic, and it had gods. We didn't have much in the way of metal. We were a Bronze Age people, but things were good until a terrible sickness. Who I don't think we have like a clear understanding of how it happened or where it came from. But a terrible sickness befell humanity in the old world, and most of us died trying to solve that illness, right? Trying to stop that plague. It got to a point where we couldn't, and we fled. All of the healthy people, we got on boats and we fled across the sea to the west, looking for a new home. We arrived, cut in probably like a third the number of people we had. We arrived in the Ironlands, though we didn't know its name at the time, and we began burying the dead that we had brought with us and building lighthouses in honor of our journey to warn off any ill spirit or any ancestor that, having died, would have tried to come and join us, right? So we came over and we did that. Now, in this place, we discovered that this land is it's never had humans in it, so we're the only humans here. But it is the home. Why would you bring dead people with you? They died on the boat on the way over. We didn't bring them with us. We left all the dead people behind because they were nasty. Anyway, there are several species here, but they're not human. They're the firstborn, which we've come to call elves. There are trolls, which we don't know their name yet, but there are trolls. There are also all kinds of monsters and strange animals here. The rules of life and death don't play the same way here as well. And more important than anything else, we found iron. And iron is the metal of the gods. It was used to make their armor and their weapons. The gods are giant, or at least they were. They died fighting each other, and they left behind their bones and their artifacts, but mostly they left behind iron, which we are now using to make weapons and to rule over one another. You can kind of think of iron in this setting as mithril or Valerian steel or lightsabers or katana or whatever. It's a symbol of martial and physical power, and it is a token that allows us to fight and to potentially rule these lands, because we know, at least so far, that elves and trolls are allergic to it. So that's where we're at now. My character, her name is Nabake Half-Elven. She is not literally half-elven. We're not sure if she became an elf. We know she has an elven grandmother, but we're not sure if elfness is passed down directly biologically or whether it's like magical radiation makes you an elf. We don't really know what is going on, but there are human hybrids with elves, and Nabake is one of them, which is why she has to pretend that her name is Sabine and she's actually a human mercenary. We pissed off an island full of elves, so the only elves we've met. We killed or fought some trolls, and that didn't go great either. So we tried to fit in with these humans at Highwatch. We've been in Highwatch for a couple of episodes now, and Highwatch is a town run by an asshole named Shekar. Shekar is the... Notice out of habit, I drag the players here. I'm the only player. It doesn't matter where this is. So Shekar is the leader of this town. Highwatch is a town of weirdos and misfits, ruled by I think he's a former pirate. And and we now work as one of his goons. We have for a while. It's us, Serene, who I think might be my favorite goon because she's hasn't tried to kill us yet. So it's it's me and Serene and Win, who we definitely had sex with, and there was Myrick, and there's a red shirt we haven't named yet. Myrick we had to kill in the last episode because he was an elf-hating racist. And also, they knew our secret, and they were going to probably tell everybody that I was an elf. Now, I think the whole town, if we end up at the last session, at the end of the last session, everybody in the town pretty much now suspects something is up with me. That I am not their friend. I got shut out of my sojourn move, which is the move you used to recover. I got shut out of that move last session because of the town being a bunch of dicks to me. So I think maybe I want to start. Let me look. There's a move. I think I want to start this episode actually out of town. Yeah. So I think what we fade in on in session 7, and I promise that I promised the nuns that I would help them, so I got to go back and do that. But I think I left town. I think I was like, fine, assholes. You don't want to like give me food and let me hang out here. So I left town. Not forever. Obviously, I still have quests to deal with, but I left town enough to go and find my mammoth and spend some time in the wild attempting to rest and recover out there. Because, you know, they wouldn't have me in town. Everybody's being suspicious and weird. So let's start by making camp and seeing how that goes. So let's begin the record of session 7 here. So, okay. Since everyone was being shit to me in town, I decided I'd go check on my mammoth friend. Maybe what I need is a little distance from all these humans. Give them a chance to mourn that asshole Myrick if they're so upset. Okay, all right. So let's go hang out with our mammoth. Now I think that with my mammoth, not Choni, I think Kudan gives me a bonus. I can roll with +5 if I'm going to make a move that requires supply, which Make Camp does. So what's my supply at? I think my supply might be at only at +1. Perfect. Okay. All right. So I get to use one of my special abilities, which is Kudan. So we're gonna make a roll. And we're going to, here we go. Roll plus Kudan's health for the Make Camp move. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna temporarily set my own supply to 5, but it's actually +1. So I'm gonna go set that. We're gonna make a move, and then hopefully I won't fail. And we'll reset it to 1. God, +5, +5, and I still only manage a weak hit. Good, great. This is welcome to the game, everybody. This is how it works. Okay, all right. So roll Kudan. So I go into Make Camp with Kudan. We score a weak hit, which gives me, let's see, 1 thing. Oh boy. All right. So I can +1 health. I can +1 spirit, +1 momentum. We're not journeying anywhere. Okay. So my spirit's at 3. My health is at 0. Oof. Okay, my supply's at 1. It's gonna have to be my momentum's not great either. Oh no, it's at +4. That's not bad. Okay, yeah, definitely gonna take the +1 to health. So we go and lick our wounds out in the wilderness and gain +1 health. Okay. Okay, buddy. time to get back to work. There's some hot nuns that need servicing back in town. Okay, so Nabake goes out to now. The whole scene at the beginning of this episode would be one of those like very tsundere, like, I'm not here to check on you. I just need to rest. Like, we're whatever, elephant. So like I leave the town, right? We grab up our spear, we leave the inn because nobody wants us around. They're all giving us stink eye all the time. And we go out of the edge of the town and out into the wilderness, and we find Kudan, I guess, like grazing out on the plains. And I imagine everything when you're envisioning especially outdoor scenes, like when we transfer from outdoor to indoor scenes, I imagine one of the things that really indicates that move from one location to another is color grading change. So color grading is the colors that are assigned to the highlights, the midtones, and the shadows of a video shot in a movie, right? So a cinematic look often tones the highlights to be sort of tan color and the shadows to be sort of cyan. And if you've watched any movie, especially an action movie in the last like 10 years, cyan shadows and like tan or orange highlights are totally normal. So what I imagine when I think about color grading this show in my head, that is the campaign, outside, everything is color graded blue, right? We have like cyan shadows, like teal highlights, and everything maybe except for skin tones, right? The midtones would be neutral. But I imagine there is this steely color outside, and then the inverse where we have orange highlights and then sepia shadows inside to create a really strong delineation between cold outdoors and warm indoors. We would use color palette for that. I don't think there's a lot of like red or green in this show. I think the color slide is very much just tones of that sort of steel blue or the firelight orange. I think those are our main kind of tones. And you'd see this in exterior shots a lot too, where if I'm coming up the hill from the beach, the outdoors would be all steel blue and cyan, but there might be an orange light in a window indicating where I'm headed, right? Like it's a way to, by this point, we would have established a pretty strong color palette as way of influencing people's imagination. This is why for me as a GM, it's often difficult because I want to take the whole idea I have of the image in my head and just push it into your brain, right? I just want you to see what I'm seeing, which I guess fundamentally is the skill or practice of being a game master, right? Ideally, you're taking those images from your brain, you're giving them to other people so that they have a clear image of the same thing, I guess that's the point. Anyway, so the episode starts out on this kind of grassy, like pseudo tundra. Like I don't imagine, since we're so close to the shore, I don't imagine a lot of big trees, though in the distance, in the background, we'd have a matte painting of some misty mountains, low fog, black pine trees, right? Black needled pine trees, all way off in the distance. Out here, scrubland, obviously snow and ice, but not everywhere. That kind of like semi-thawed, like clods of dirt with little bits of grass. And then we see Kudan, probably just like snuffling around. And I imagine I don't think he's brown. I don't think he's a big brown mammoth. I think he's like a dark gray, big shaggy mammoth, huge curling like elephant tusks. And I imagine that the tusks have like carvings in them. Like maybe Kudan served as a totem deity or something for a time. We don't really know Kudan's backstory, and I think we'll discover it sometime in the future as another episode. But yeah, Kudan is like huge and kind of like one of those big like big and slow. He's kind of got like I'm almost imagining like an Eeyore kind of like vibe to him, where he's kind of lumbering and like, you know, he knows how strong he is, but sometimes pretends he doesn't. So like if I'm, you know, maybe I'm like washing the blood off of my spear or something, he might come over to the river and like nudge me with a tusk to knock me in the water. Nabake acts like he's a total asshole and I hate him and we hate each other. Like we're constantly just like, I'm just like, shut up, you don't know anything about me. Go back to the tundra, moron. And I like walk away from him. And I think that he's got this very kind of like human, for the sake of the audience, kind of human effect, where like he rolls his eyes or like shakes his head. He gets anthropomorphized, but the rule for the writers, the rule for the animators would be you're only allowed to anthropomorphize Kudan if no one is looking at him but the camera, right? Like I think that would be in our writer's Bible, that would be the thing, is like Kudan, we're supposed to imagine that Kudan is one step closer to the audience than all the other characters that we meet, so that we can kind of have that, like, especially if it's at the offense, especially if it's at the offense of Nabake, especially if we're sharing a joke with Kudan about how terrible Nabake is, right? So she'll do something stupid and Kudan will shake his head and we see that, but no one else will, and we get a little chuckle out of that moment. So anyway, I come out into the tundra because he's not allowed to stay in town because I think somebody's going to try to like kill him for, I don't know, tusk ivory or whatever, get scared and think that he's a monster or whatever. So he stays outside of the town and I go to check on him, but I would never admit it. I don't go to say to him like, I don't go out there and I'm like, oh, I was worried about you, buddy. I was just like, oh, you're still here? Great. And then I like, you know, take my pack off of his back and like go through it and, you know, eat some food and sit there. And I'm just like, I don't talk to him, but then I'm like, fine. Like, okay, obviously you're getting lonely out here. Okay. Well, so I had to kill this guy, Myrick. Yeah, they were a real asshole. At first, I thought that they were going to be cool, but then, and so it becomes clear that Nabake is pretending to tell this story about this traumatic thing that happened to her to Kudan so that he doesn't feel left out, right? Like the point of the story for her is like, oh, I'll tell him so that, you know, so he doesn't worry about me. But really what's happening is that she is unburdening herself of the things that happened to her by talking to him, right? Like, oh, well, yeah. So, and then there was this other guy, Win, and like, he's kind of handsome, but then when Myrick and I got in a fight, Win just watched him beat me up and he didn't even try to help. That's been happening to me a lot lately. And so it's really, it becomes clear to us through framing and through the soundtrack of the game that Nabake is like obviously struggling. So yeah, so we get to kind of witness that as she processes it by pretending to talk to Kudan. And then eventually it starts, maybe I hear the bells. We hear a bell from the nunnery, their big bronze bell. And I look over at Kudan and I'm like, well, time to head back into town, buddy. No, I know. Don't be sad. I'll come back. You know, if I don't get too busy with all those hot nuns. Ooh, baby. Anyway, Kudan, I gotta run. Bye. And then I just leave. I just walk off, and Kudan just lets out a low grumbling sound as I take off towards the nunnery, expecting that there are going to be lots of supple young pseudo-religious mead-making maidens just waiting for Nabake to get her little elf hands on. But that may not be the case. So the nuns have a job for me. Let's find out what it is. So we're gonna make another roll. We're gonna roll from the oracle here. And let's take a look. I think I have the oracles on my character sheet now. Yeah, I do. All right, here we go. So we're gonna roll for Let's see if it might not be on here. Settlement trouble. There we go. All right. What do the nuns need from Nabake? The nuns are having some trouble. What do they need? Here we go. Ooh, a dangerous tradition. Ooh, I like it. I like it. Okay. So, settlement trouble, quote, a dangerous. Oh, God, why is this a link? No, don't do it. Settlement trouble, dangerous tradition. Okay. So, yeah, we gotta figure out what, what trouble it is. And let's, you know what, we can roll on this one. I think we got some themes here. So what is it related to? Ooh, fear. Great. This is going to be good. I have one goddamn health. Dangerous tradition. Theme is fear. And then action. Let's roll for action. Some action to do. Coordinate. Okay. Coordinate. So, a dangerous tradition that's related to fear that has something to do with coordination. Like preparing, right? A fear coordinator. Yeah, we have to make a haunted house. Yeah, something about like organizing like against something for that is like fearful, right? Like, ooh, yeah. A trial or something. Yeah. Oh my God. I have to lead a bunch of young nuns out into the woods to undertake some kind of trial. And I have to be their guard. I have to guard the nuns. Yes. Okay. All right. So yes. Awesome. All right. Maybe Nabake is going to get what she wants after all. All right. So let's detail this in the, is it Our Truth? No, I think it was Map Legend. Yeah. Cause this is a legend of the nunnery itself. I think, let's see. The Hallowed Harbor Nunnery. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's make a new, I guess we don't need a new entry here. We can just keep it this one. Sort of charity home for lost souls. The wardens have a special ritual for new inductees into the nunnery, where a stranger leads neophytes to a haunted or cursed location nearby where they must stay the night and face their fears before returning. It totally is just like a haunted sleepover. Okay. All right, before returning. Well, that's what I'm going to do. That's the name of this episode. Session 7, Nabake and the Haunted Sleepover. Okay, so what we need now is I need 3 young nuns. I need to make 3 nuns here. So let's create those. All right. Nun number 1 is, okay. I need to roll 3 times for each nun. 40, 66, and 69. Okay. Avella. 66. Nadira. Have we had a Nadira yet? Avella, Nadira, and I guess I should be rolling D200s, right? That's okay. And then 69 is Messias. Okay. Messias. Messias. Either one. Okay. All right. And then we need, this is going to be fun. We're going to need personalities for all three of these characters. Okay. So let's see here. Character descriptor. All right. We need three of these. The first nun, Avella, is successful, vengeful, ooh, and disfigured. Cool. Okay. Successful. And she's a teenager. Ooh, I like her. Okay. Okay, I'm getting kind of like a Regina George vibe. Avella sounds like the queen of these three nuns. Okay, and then Nadira is, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Selfish. Oh God, teenage girls. Selfish, hot-tempered, and hostile. Oh God. Selfish, hot-tempered, hostile. And I have to babysit these nerds. Okay. And Messias, she is, here we go. One, she is insensitive, oblivious, and dying. Well, we know who goes first. All right. Insensitive, oblivious, and dying. It's perfect. This is becoming such a perfect horror movie. All right. So I have to take these three nuns, Avella, Nadira, and Messias, out into the woods, and I have to guard them. Now, what's the funny thing is here is that like they are, I think they are adults, like they're acolyte nuns, so they're like 18 and 19, and Nabake is, I think, like 22 or something. Like she's quite young as well. So it's a whole bunch of teenage girls and then one early 20s girl going out into the woods, and we have to here, let's add to our map. Let's create a new location. Let's figure out where we have to go. So we have to go out to this haunted location, and we need to bring something back, maybe, to show that we confronted our fear. So let's add another, let's use the cave. Let's use the little dark side cave here. Okay. All right. There we go. Let's put it like over. How far away do we want this cave? Do we want to cross the river? Should we put it like just a little ways down here? Down the coast? Further away? Like out here somewhere? How long do we want to spend with these nuns? I think like kind of far is good. Let's put it in a little further inland, maybe. Yeah, so it's like maybe like a week of travel or something. Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that, Ink Corvid. That's really good. So I'm gonna steal, Ink Corvid, I'm gonna steal your idea. So the nun inductees are sick, and that's why they become nuns. The trial cures them, but they've got to remain in the nunnery from then on. So they all have, but I think I'm gonna spin it. So when you begin becoming an acolyte, you are cursed. They make you drink some kind of like special beverage, some kind of like blood wine or something, and that poisons you, and you'll die in a year, but you have to go to this place and you have to drink water from some fountain to purify you, and it's the minerals in the fountain have the antidote for the poison that they gave you. So I'm gonna twist it a little. And we're gonna go like they're poisoned now. The water will purify them. Yeah. Okay. So let's go. Yeah, let's go out there, and we will see. So this is where the font is. So let me. Here, let's start detailing it. Okay. What do we need to know about this thing? I guess we just need to write down the details of where it is and what we know about it on here to begin with. And we can go from there. All right. So, this is the font of purification. We know that it's a ruin. We know that it's, we know some details about it, but let's roll anyway. I want to roll anyway and see what, I want to see what the oracles say about it. So location descriptor, let's roll 3 times on this. We get nothing. Okay. It might be that is, oh, it just didn't show it. Okay. Isolated. Yes. Okay. All right. It's isolated. It is, let's see here. Perilous and cold. Okay. It sounds about right for out here. Perilous, cold. Okay. Let's say it's a former frontier, mausoleum or, memorial for those who did not wish to give their dead to the sea and instead carried them inland to entomb them in stone. In the hills, I guess the Rocky Hills. In the Rocky Hills, the first pilgrims found the sacred font and laid their dead to rest. It is said that the water here can cure the illnesses that are unique to the Ironlands. Okay, so it's like a sacred, like, it's a memorial. So they brought their, I think they brought their dead all the way up into the mountains and they cut, like an ossuary into the stones and put their bones here around this spring, this font of like magical mineral water. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah, and it's like semi-glacial, kind of like, yeah, like that. Okay. All right. So we need to lead these teens, Avella, Nadira, and Messias. We need to lead them across the frozen terrain to this place. We need to take them to this place. So we're going to swear some oaths, and we are going to set out on our journey. So what do we got going right now? We've got Protect Highwatch, which we've done exactly none of, and I think we're going to abandon it. We are not really making any progress on serving Shekar. Do we have any bonds with... No, Shekar, the people of Highwatch, people of Grim Barrows. We don't even have a bond with the nuns yet, but we could try to do that now, right? That's I guess what this quest is about. So we're gonna swear an iron vow. We're gonna swear to take the young nuns to the sacred whatever, and then bring them back. All right. So that's our new quest. I think it's troublesome, not so much dangerous. I don't think we're taking on like a big scary event here. It's just me and some kids, and we're just gonna go camping and then come back. So it's fine as long as I don't have to get in a fight. I'm done with fighting. Okay, so let's swear an iron vow. We're gonna roll plus heart. We don't have a bond, so this is probably gonna go badly because rolling plus heart is not something we're very good at. Here we go. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Okay, so on a miss, you face a significant obstacle before you can begin your quest. Envision what stands in your way and press on or forsake your vow. I guess we press on at -2 momentum. God damn it. So the obstacle is one of the girls is not present. So I come to the nunnery and they're like, these 3 girls are going to go with you. These 3... Wait. Where's Nadira? And no one seems to know. So I have to go find her first. God damn it. All right, so we separate to go in and search out Nadira, who is our selfish, hot-tempered, and hostile little nun. So let's make a note here. So the nuns want me to escort a handful of their little nunlings out to some haunted summer camp up in the hills. Trek out, sing some songs, eat a herring, come on back. Easy task, right? Only, of course, one of these little piss ants decided to disappear right before we set out. Gotta find her and set her straight. Okay. All right. Let's go get her. Yeah, Stroppy about a quest whose objective is literally prevent you from dying. She doesn't know. I don't think they tell the nunlings like you have to go to the cave or you're gonna die. All right, so let's search an area looking for this little nunling. I'm gonna make a roll. The roll is gather information, right? Gather information. Looking for Nadira. Okay, come on. Don't blow it. I mean, a weak hit is it's a weak hit. That's fine. I'll take it. All right, so gather information on weak hit. Take +1 momentum. We find her. Where do we think we find? Where do we find this kid? Weak hit. +1 momentum. Is she in the bar? Is she drunk? Is she scared? She's selfish, hot-tempered, and hostile. Yeah, smoking elf weed in the bathroom. Oh my god, is she having sex with some dude? Is she with her boyfriend? Do we find her with her boyfriend? Oh, that'd be really funny. Yeah, because she's supposed to be a nun. We don't really know what nuns are or do, but I think it'd be really funny if we find her in the barn. Yep. Yeah, let's do that. So we probably fade out on Nabake grabbing her spear and being like, all right, let's go find this dumb teenager. And I walk out and we crossfade to the inside of a barn. Obviously, there are like some goats, standing around, and we slowly pan up and there's maybe some like squeaking noises, and we pan up through the ceiling onto a pile of hay, and we see, a half naked. She's got her nun dress yanked up around her waist. And we see this nun and some random like town fuckboy, like just some guy. Yeah, there's a horse whinnies in the background, and we hear me interrupt them. Right. So clearly what I want is I clearly want the scene to show that Nadira is doing this of her own free will, right? That this isn't like romantic in the sense of like, oh, I love you, I don't want to become a nun, sad tears. This is her being like, I don't want to go on the dumb quest. I want to have sex with this himbo in the barn, right? So like, she's clearly doing this for her own pleasure and is not interested in being a nun. She's a hot teen and she's stoked. And so we hear this, and then we interrupt because she hears the door to the barn open, and we hear Nabake be like, ugh, it smells like goat in here. Nadira. And we see her like look at the boy like, shut the fuck up, shut up. And she's like, you know, tying her belt, and she's going to try to get away from me. She's going to try to slip away, and I am going to try to track her down. So I think she grabs her shoulder bag and throws it over her shoulder, and she goes over to like the window, and she's going to try to basically pull a Princess Jasmine and like slip out of the window and become a nun on the run. So let's see if we can if she can do that. Now NPCs don't roll things, so what's going to happen instead is I think I'm going to face danger because the imminent threat is that Nadira gets away, that we don't catch her. So I am rolling with expertise, insight, or observation. Rolling plus wits. I suppose if we catch her, this will count as working on my... we'll see. If I can face danger here, I won't have to like chase her down. I can confront her right away. If I miss, then probably I see her and I gotta actually literally run after her. And we gotta do the whole thing. And then I'll have to tackle her and we'll have to wrestle around in the mud. Anyway, let's make this face danger roll. So interrupted Nadira in the middle of a hot date with some goat herd's son. But she took off before I could, if I could get my hands on either of them. Let's see if I spot her or if she just gets away. So, okay. Wits. Here we go. All right. I got another weak hit. It's fine. I'll take it. So that gives me a troublesome cost. You're delayed, lose advantage, or face a new danger. I don't really want to sacrifice resources or endure stress or become tired or hurt. So I think we just lose a momentum and then I catch her. Before I get my hands on either of them. Thankfully, there really isn't anywhere to run to in this shithole. So I managed to corner her and bring her back to her friends. Here we go. All right. So now we know about Nadiris. Has a boyfriend at home. Doesn't really want to become a nun. There you go. Okay. Great. So yeah, we see her slip out. We see her slip out the window. And then I hear her like thump thump onto the ground, and I roll my eyes and I turn around and I walk out into the alley, and the next shot is me with my arm around Nadira, leading her, and her hair is still all messed up. And I'm imagining Nadira as like a younger, what is the name of that? She's a new character from Star Wars. What was the name of that character? I think I have a picture of her on my phone. Maybe that will remind me. Janna? Janna is the name of the character. The leader of Company 77. Anyway, Nadira is kind of short. She has like really kinky black hair, dark skin. She probably wears the normal like nun like tunic thing that they're supposed to wear, but she's done something to it. Like she's cut the sleeves off or like changed something about the way it looks. And the other nuns are very like annoyed about this. I think that Nadira and Avella have an antagonistic sort of frenemies relationship. And then Messias is just, oh my God, they're just, holy shit. They are just the girls from Mean Girls. Avella is Regina. Nadira is the girl who keeps trying to make fetch happen. And Messias is the one who can tell that it's raining because of her boobs. They're literally just those girls. Amazing. Perfect. Okay. All right. So, so I bring Nadira back and I give her a little shove into the nunnery. Avella is checking her, looking at her reflection in like a piece of reliquary. She's like looking at her hair. And, I think Messias, says when I come in with Nadira, Messias says, "Hey, it's Nadira." And I'm like, yes, yes, Messias. I found her, so I guess we're ready to go on our little trip. And I look at Nadira and I say, "You got a bag or something?" And Nadira snaps at Messias and she says, "Mask, where's my bag?" And Messias is like, "Right here," and like holds the bag out to her. And Nadira takes it from her and gives her a scowl, like throws it over her shoulder. You know, it may well be that the only things that are capable of defeating Nabake are shittier teens than Nabake is. Like, this may well be the thing that it takes to make Nabake into an adult, is just being like, "Look, Nabake, 3 shitty versions of you." So Avella looks at me and rolls her eyes, and she says, and Avella has this kind of like innocent, like farmer's daughter kind of look, where she dresses like a nun. Her outfit is like perfect, right? Her frock is exactly right, and she has everything like arranged really nicely, and she has this like beautiful sort of straw blonde hair and freckles, and she's very, very vain, but she tries most of the time to pretend that she is that she's nice, that she's a kind person, but she's not. And so she hides that. And I think her disfigurement, is it Lindsay Lohan? It kind of is, right? But I think her disfigurement is something magical. Maybe she has like a sign that indicates she's, I'm thinking about, oh God, what was the name of that Viking? It was like Ragnar's son, and he had like a dragon in his eye, or like a snake eye or something. I think she has a disfigured eye. That like she has like one like hourglass eyeball or something. I think that something like that. Yeah. So yeah. So she is unusually beautiful, but in a kind of like dull, uninteresting way. Arrogant, or not arrogant, but like vain, but good at hiding it. Falsely modest, marked with a disfigured eye. Yeah, a Sigurd snake in the eye, exactly. Someone branded a big L on her forehead with magic. Marked with a disfigured eye that among, oh, here we go. Marked with a disfigured eye that among her family's people meant she was a curse and a doom, hence her being abandoned to the nunnery. Right, there you go. So Avella, her people maybe were travelers or merchants, and her mom was pregnant in High Watch, gave birth, saw the eye, and was like, nope, and just left her here. And Avella she's a successful nun, she's a vengeful person, and she's disfigured by the mark of the eye. Yeah, cool. Excellent. All right. And she wants to be a nun. Avella is the one who, she's like, if she's in a work group with Nadira and Messias, she wants them to do well so she doesn't lose, I don't know, nun points for the trip, right? So she's like a teacher's pet and also like a popular girl. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, nun points. Noints, if you will. Right, that's where you get anointed at the end of the ritual. Get into heaven free points. All right, so, you know, the more we think about this, the more I realize that these nuns, they're less like what we think of when we think of like Catholic nuns, and they're maybe more like the monks from Anathem. Anybody read that book? It's a Neil Stevenson book where like a nunnery is actually like a place of learning and solace and not a religious location at all. Like, I think that's more where I'm going with it. Because remember, we gave up our gods when we got here. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Okay. And then, yeah, for Messias, I think that's a good point. Let's say insensitive, oblivious, and dying. So Messias probably has like, general weakness due to a childhood illness, one that her parents couldn't abide or cure, and so she was given to the nunnery. Falls ill often, is just happy to have been invited. There you go. Sort of nebbish, kind of like, well, I'm glad I could come along, even if Nadira and Avella both act like they hate her. Yeah. I like how we just successfully generated 3 fairly realistic feeling like teenage girls. Right? There's all this pressure to be sisters, but they're not, and they don't really know each other. And so they're like mean to each other because they are lashing out against this enforced friendship. Right? Where it's like, you have to be friends, but they also have to be friends. And so on some level, they are friends, even though they're cruel to each other because they're lashing out, not at each other, but at the system that is putting them in this position. Yeah, fascinating. Okay. All right. And now they have this slightly older camp counselor type. It's me. And I have to get them safely to the sacred font. So let's go, ladies. We're going to the font of purification. It's time. Let's go get purified. I guess now that we have Nadira. Oh, let's mark progress, because I think having all of the girls with me, I think that qualifies. So let's mark some progress here. There we go. You know what? Let's make this dangerous. Let's make this a dangerous journey so we can actually try to get some XP, because we've lost a few. Let's push this one. And we're going out into the wilderness. So yeah, let's go get them. Let's get them out there. And they're 3 hostile teens. That's more dangerous than troublesome.